Sophia Webster is one of the UK's most celebrated footwear designers of the 21st century and has amassed a global reputation for her work. She founded her label in 2012 and has recently set up a scholarship to support students at Montfort University. Her dedication to design, as well as to DMU students, saw Sophia receive an honorary degree from the university in 2019. Welcome, Sophia.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. So, first question, why footwear? Where did your love of fashion and footwear first come from?
So when I was very small, I would say my first memory of shoes was probably my nanny Peggy. She had those like fluffy slippers. And then I think the first shoes that I got that made me like really love shoes was my platform buffalo trainers. So like the Spice Girls. I was obsessed with the Spice Girls. And for Christmas, my mum took me to Covent Garden and that was my Christmas present, was a pair of buffalo boots. Yeah. So that was the first time that I had a pair of shoes that I really sort of connected how sort of putting on a particular shoe could give you a lot of confidence and just change the way you sort of stand and how you feel about yourself, I guess, give you a few extra inches in height and in confidence. So
you've obviously had like an amazing career and done some amazing things during that career. If you had to pick out a couple of highlights, like what have been the highlights so far?
Definitely Oprah wearing my shoes to give her Me Too speech was an amazing
How did that happen?
Moment. Between her and her stylist, they decided she was only going to wear female designers that night. And my agent in LA had a pair of my Coco black pumps, which have the crystal ball heel. And she sent those and a few other styles to the stylist with like red carpet and, event and award season, things like that. You'll get the email saying that the celebrity's worn your shoes, but then when you open it, they've got like a floor length gown on.
Oh, no.
So you're like, oh no. So then I'm often like 3 a.m. looking through Getty, trying to find a picture where maybe they've like lifted their leg because they're walking or they're trying to go up a step or something, and then you get a glimpse of the shoe. So that's probably one. My other moment I would say is when Taylor Swift wore a pair of my Kiara butterfly wing pumps on the red carpet. To have a celebrity like Taylor wear your most iconic shoe with an outfit that it was almost like all about the shoe. So that for me was so special.
So I've heard you talk about your brand before, and you've talked about it spreading joy, which I just think is such a lovely thing to say. Can you say a bit more about what joy means to you and how your brand spreads joy to the world?
I've always loved designing very kind of spirited, feminine, colourful shoes. The shoes that I absolutely love to design are ones that are very, very have a lot of character and maybe slightly humorous, or there's something that's a bit kind of maybe tongue-in-cheek, or they toe the line between, I don't know, good taste and bad. Sometimes that is kind of where I like to put colour combinations together that are a bit unexpected, or it makes you take a second look, or So yeah, I like to have a lot of fun when I'm designing shoes, and I definitely think when you put that sort of extra effort in or extra thought, so that there's some shoes I do that I try and make them like every part of them detailed or from 360 degrees, like whether it's the sole or the lining, or I try and sneak details in there. So
that's really nice.
Yeah,
it must be really special to see them.
Yeah.
So obviously you've had some big successes. I don't think I'm over Oprah wearing your shoes for her Me Too speech, to be honest. But there must have been some really challenging moments as well. So how have you how have you dealt with the challenges? What have been some of the biggest barriers you've had?
It's interesting because I think just even at like different times, at different stages in the journey, there's always like a new challenge, or there's always something. It's usually something where you've like assumed this would happen, and then you should just never assume. I actually had, when I won the Vogue Fashion Fund, I got a mentoring session, and you could choose who you wanted a mentoring session with, and we chose Paul Smith, and his motto is actually never assume. That's in their like Paul Smith like coat of arms, I think, because he's like it'll always be that like trips you up.
When you were a student yourself, I think it was when you were doing your masters, and I think you were at the Royal College of Art, and tutors were sort of saying, it's too commercial, you're too fun, you're too pink. Didn't they say you were too pink?
Yeah, it was too pink.
And that's got to be, I guess, I'm going to make an assumption, but I'm assuming you were still quite young at that point. And that's got to be quite a difficult situation to find you in, where all the experts around you are telling you that you're wrong, but you're convinced that you're right. So where did you get the courage to kind of stick with your own convictions from? Where did your kind of tenacity come from?
I think I'm naturally quite tenacious. I do have quite a resilient character, I think. My grandma was a refugee, so she instilled a resilience in us from when we were young, and her story was one of real sort of bravery. So I think growing up around strong women definitely gave me, I guess, that confidence to stick to what I thought was right and follow my gut. I just really like that shoe as well. I just really like my design, and I was like, "No, you're wrong. I'm gonna sell loads of this shoe." Yeah,
and then you did.
So I think ultimately the only person that has to believe in you is you, and also be prepared. Like, not everyone's gonna love everything that you do.
Absolutely,
that would be weird,
That's such a good point, actually. Yeah, it would be weird. So one of the things you've very generously done is set up a scholarship to support students here at DMU.
Yeah.
What made you want to do that?
I just think that, the footwear industry is so niche, and there's not that many places that you can actually study at this level to do that. And think, it's really important to give back, and we've had some amazing students come through from DMU, and
so you take DMU students on placements, don't you?
We do, yeah. We set a project with them. I think it was back in 2017, I think, and since then we've had placement students, and they always come with such a great understanding of the industry, and you can just tell that the level of like education that they're getting from practically, from like the making to their skills on the like technically their skills. It's just it's really exceptional. So I just want to be able to keep that going.
That's really nice. And I guess, obviously for students, having placements with you is really great for them. What do you learn from having them come and study with you? Do you find like, wow, their creativity, you're like, wow, where's that coming from? That's a new idea. Or
I think, it's always really nice to have that kind of fresh energy, I guess, in the studio. I think that's quite exciting, and they're always very excited to be there and to be like experiencing it. So and they see things like differently, and they have their finger on the pulse as well. So that's always really interesting to get that perspective.
If you were studying again, if you're studying now, what would you say to students who want to kind of get into this industry and do this? And I definitely think getting some like external experience is key. When I was a student, I applied for so many different like bursaries, work placements, work experience. I honestly did anything and everything that would give me either like money, experience, was up for grabs, or exposure. That's what I did. I did whatever I could to get my name out there. I remember once there was a open call at Liberty, the store Liberty, and it was for like to stock a new product. So it was lots of like crafters and makers, and people would take their products down there, and I just took my portfolio and like queued up for ages to show the buyers. And I didn't have a factory, I didn't even have a physical shoe. I just had my portfolio, I had no means to make anything. I just wanted to show everybody, and they were very sweet, but
I just did anything I could to get noticed and get some attention on what I could do. And also, like, you can learn a lot at college, but I think often getting in a real life setting, you know, is really important. And often people will find out that it's actually not what they want to do when they get in that place, or they might think they want to be in the design team, but then they do a placement in production, or, you know, doing something else, and then they realize, oh, actually, I really enjoy this. So I think it's good to find out what direction within shoes it actually is that you want to do, because there's so much, even just within a shoe brand.
Sophia, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you.